Right, welcome to Recovered1440.com Cabin Fever episode 20, I believe. My name is Bobby and I'm an addict. This is a podcast for people who are struggling with addiction or who might be using drugs recreationally and don't know that there's a solution on offer. Me and my friends are very, very lucky to be part of a 12-step fellowship that has helped us find a new way of life. And to those ends, here we are today. I am joined by a good friend of mine, Emma, who's here to tell her story. So I will hand it over to you, Em. Welcome.
Thanks, Bobby. My name's Emma, I'm an addict.
No way.
I class myself as an alcoholic as well. I'll just say I'm all of it now because it's a lot more freeing and a lot more liberating. But the thought of saying I was an alcoholic before coming into recovery was absurd. Like, my understanding in my ignorance was that it's a man on a park bench drinking out of a paper bag. Or drug addiction had to be that you were shooting heroin. Heroin wasn't my drug of choice, but it's a yet for me. I know that today. But yeah, I'm an alcoholic, I'm a cocaine addict, I'm a food addict, I'm a love addict, I'm a codependent. And it's really liberating to say that and own it, you know. I do feel a little bit nervous, I can feel the nerves coming in. I was just saying to you before the podcast, like, it's for me when I get vulnerable, because then I'm feeling seen. In recovery, I've had loads of laughter, I've had some pain, and sometimes I've got to watch for where I'm laughing off, you know, some of the pain. But I'll be 3 years, please God, on the 6th of December. 3 years clean and sober, no drink, no drugs.
Yeah, well done, man.
And
3 years.
yeah, my story started off, I think looking back as a kid, I think my first addiction was isolation. I'm an avoidant, I'm conflict avoidant, and I would isolate on any feelings.
That's interesting. So
feeling uncomfortable, I'd sort of, you know, take myself off and just hide till it felt like it was all okay again. My parents got divorced when I was 2. And I remember friends used to say to me, like, do you think, you know, you act the way you do because you're from a broken home? I'd just be like, no, don't be ridiculous. Loads of people are from broken homes. Because I saw my dad once a week, and I lived with my mum. And I got, you know, what looks like and is love. I was loved, I was loved, I was fed, I was watered. And I know they both love me and adore me. I never felt loved inside. And I still have that now. Like, it's something I'm still working on. I've got to love me from me, and it's taking a lot to get there. I'm not fully there, but this is a process, a day at a time. But isolation was the first, and food. I would binge and starve when I felt uncomfortable. So my weight's always been a big issue, and how I've used and abused food. And you know what? It worked. And I've still got issues with that as well, but I'm a lot more aware of it and I talk about it and I'm a lot more free around it. But it did work because I could get rid of those feelings, I could just push them away. But then after that came the crushing, like, just blown up insanity. Like, I can't go out, I can't see my friends out, I'm too fat, I'm going to cancel plans, and then the hiding, and then coming out again when I was alright. It's like I was afraid to be seen. If I was going to cry or have a meltdown, I'd only sort of come out when I thought I could be okay, which is control, right? I'm totally controlling my emotions and what should happen. So at 14 I picked up my first drink. I was at a bar mitzvah and my cheeks went bright red. That's how I feel now, just like flushed. And I only had one drink and it just took away that awkwardness, because I'm naturally really shy, really fucking awkward. But you couldn't have necessarily seen that because I always had a crowd around me. It didn't look like that, but inside I was just, really awkward and uncomfortable. I didn't drink again for another year. I'm not really sure why, but at 15, this is what I know alcoholism is now. I drank alcoholically, so my second drink in my life was alcoholically. I went to a house party, there was a litre of vodka on the table, and I pretty much drank all of it. And I went from this shy, awkward girl that kind of was having a little laugh with her mates to a fucking raging lunatic. Like, picking up the utensils, throwing them in the garden, eating the dog food, sitting in the birthday cake, slapping my mates around the face. And at the end of the night, it's like me rolling around in my vomit and my stepdad having to pick me up. Yeah, I've shared that a lot of times, but I'm connecting with it, I think. I think everything seems really heightened for me at the minute because I'm really close to this sobriety anniversary and talking to a lot of people in recovery. I think we can get those feelings when we get closer to an anniversary. So the next day after that, I just remember this shame. I remember going to the David Lloyd. I was sort of from this area with some friends. We were swimming and I was going, oh my God, you can't tell anyone what happened other than the people that saw it. This is so embarrassing. They're going, it'll be old news soon, you know, it was funny, it was a laugh. But that shame was like so encompassing. However, it did stop me drinking because I'm a recovering addict, recovered from the drinking and using, not from my mind. But I didn't drink for another few years. I genuinely thought it was vodka. And then at around 17, 18, started going out. And I'm from Essex, East London, and we go to Faces and the pubs and...
Faces.
Yeah. And I would just join in and kind of blend in. I always felt like I was either too much or not enough. And I just kind of, you know, I'd put on the heels and I wouldn't take a coat and I'd drink the rosé, and that was just what I did, and that was my outlook, because I went straight into a job that I've never really known what I wanted to do either. I remember this feeling at school, like I left before sitting my GCSEs, I did my mocks, and then the thought of sitting my GCSEs became so massive, the thought of being in the classroom, everyone, like the pressure, you know, that pressure cooker, like tick, 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 I'm like, so I didn't do it. And I remember being at school thinking, this feeling has followed me round, get me out, get me out, get me out, like that trapping feeling, like I can't breathe, I need to get out. And just that running and running and running. So I was like, once I leave school and I'm in a job, I'll be alright. And so I went into a estate agency, and again that kind of low self-esteem of like or that narrative, how can I help 40-year-old people at the time as a 16-year-old girl, and that's been my thinking that I've run off. And so at the weekends it was an outlet, and that's what everyone did, what everyone around me did. But that drinking was always it was always more than my mates. Everything was always more. I'd have to have the last drink. I'd be the one that fell asleep in the club. I'd be the one that was kind of making a show outside, and it was always, you know, you didn't know where I was. I'd get into a random bloke's car or just be on the missing list. And again, I just, after a few days of shame, I'd just laugh it off, because what else was I going to do? That's what we did at the weekend in my kind of small mind and understanding. And I always kind of envied friends that knew what they wanted to do. Like I had a really close friend that knew she wanted to be a comedian and a singer, and she carried it through. And this kind of fear just has always stopped me. Always stopped me. So yeah, I just that started my path of bouncing around, just moving and going and going and going. So that job went to a hairdressing job and went to a recruitment job, and I'm saying it like, you know, there was some amazing times as well. I mean, I was on a kibbutz in Israel for 6 weeks, which was pretty cool. I did pack my case the first night and try and leave, because I was like, no, it's not for me. And they went, it's a Jewish holiday, there's actually no flights. So I stayed. But that was pretty cool, and I got a lot of lessons out of that, like packing apples and picking leaves off of apples. And but then this really says it as well, because I went to stay for longer, and you know, I thought to go deeper into my religion was where I was to go. That's a beautiful thing, but it wasn't for me. I was just totally lost, and I didn't know. I didn't know I needed to belong so bad. So yeah, but that's kind of been what's happened, and throughout everything there's been a lot of relationship changes, like I said, a lot of job changes, and a hell of a lot of drinking and using. And then at 24 I picked up coke, But this to me is like the God of my understanding. I remember this so clearly. I was in the Blues Kitchen in Camden, and I had this little voice, but it was quite loud. It went, "Em, if you do this, you know what's going to happen." And I said, "Fuck it."
Yeah, override it.
Yeah, and that's where I think I'm in control, but it's the total opposite. I'm not in control. That's my disease thinking. But I think that I'm in control, and then that fucked my life up again. Again, at the beginning it was okay, because it just became another thing of what we did. So it stopped me blackout drinking.
Yeah.
Didn't mention that I'd be a blackout drinker from early, pretty much with that first story of me at the house party, to then I could drink more successfully. Like I didn't have to leave my birthday before it had even started.
Yeah.
And you know, it was so, by that point it was, I don't know if that's my thinking, but it was sort of less taboo. I didn't sort of advertise it that I was using coke, but friends that I was around, it just seemed normal. But it was how I did it and where it took me from like the 27. I'm 36 now, and at 27, that was where it all started to go downhill. I was in a job with. I was working as a medical secretary, practice administrator, and I was really good at that job, and I really enjoyed it. It was in Bolsover Street in London. And I'm quite panicky about travelling at the minute, but at that time I was on the train every day going up to town, and me and my manager had a really good relationship, like good friendship, and my best mate's sister died that night. I didn't know this at the beginning of the night, but that's quite prevalent. She died of this disease. And I remember that night really clear. We went to the pub after work, and I got on the train and I just knew that I had this feeling that I was going to leave that job, and it was as if like something just took over me. That was it. I was run by, I didn't know this, but I felt it, if that makes sense. I just was then run by chaos and destruction, and that everything that was happening already, the moving, the running, just like sped up to like, from 27 to 33, it's quite a lot of it is a blur.
Warp speed.
Yeah. And any time a relationship broke down, the drink would pick up, the using would pick up. And I was using alone by this point. I started to use alone. And that was where I thought I was happiest, but it was really fucking dark. Really dark. And I told myself, I want to live on my own. That's where I'm best, living on my own. And it had come into COVID, just gone through a relationship breakup, and I was living in Ingatestone, which is a beautiful village in Essex, in this lovely flat. And then at the end I was going to the co-op every 3 days, getting X amount of wine, X amount of beer, meeting the dealer around the corner at by the doctors so no one could see. And that was it. It was me, beer, wine and cocaine. And every so often I'd still tell myself that I was social, because I could go to the pub on my own, or I could meet. But the truth is I'd pushed anyone that was good for me like completely away. I wasn't picking up the phone to mum and dad. I was only really talking on the phone to people that were using or drinking. And yeah, Bobby, it was really sad at the end. I'd play the same fucking film. I played Rise of the Foot Soldier because I fancy Craig Fairbrother.
Yeah, he's a good looking geezer too.
Yeah. And I got to, by the time it got to a certain scene, I can't even remember it, but I paused it, and then, all the weirdness comes in, you know. And I found that difficult to talk about in the rooms to begin with, especially if it's like, we're all on a level together, but I found it difficult to throw in if it was a mixed meeting or just the shame of it. But the truth is I don't need to have that shame around it anymore, because it took me to exactly the same place. It took me to darkness, it took me to porn for hours, it took me to messaging on Tinder. It was dirty, and it was horrible. And it took me to psychosis, and I'm wearing my nan's ring today.
It's a beautiful ring, by the way.
It's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
I love her, and I believe she's always with me, regardless if I wear this ring or not. But I remember this, I had the plate on the floor with the lines, and I sat there and I called out to her. I went, Nan, like, I can't do this anymore. But I was stuck as well because of the psychosis. So I was like that, like, Nan, I can't do this anymore. I obviously wasn't laughing. I was like, oh, I can't do this. I need help. And that's when, honest to God, that sort of time frame, a month or so later, that's when help came. Yeah. If that's not powerful, like, I don't know what is. Because I've had suicidal ideation since about 15. Yeah. Like, regardless of the drink or drugs. But this, you know, I would be dead, and I don't know if it would have been from the consumption of drink and drugs in the end, but it just would have been from me. I was playing around with these images of, like, you know, hanging myself, but not actually doing it. But how long can that go on for? But that's when help came, and I'll get into some recovery. So my first seed that was planted was I was working at a hairdresser's washing this guy's hair, and he was really, really open about his recovery. I can't even remember what I thought of this. I just thought he was showing off. He might have been, but it planted a seed. Yeah. Something was going in my head, and then after another night of using, I messaged him and said, I think I want to go to one of these meetings. And he went, that's cool, come and meet me. So I met him at Soho. I went to one of the meetings. It was a huge meeting, and I went in and I saw the scrolls on the side, and this woman put her hands on mine. I thought, get off me. Don't touch me.
Amen to that.
Yeah, don't touch me. Like, just leave. I don't even want to be in here. This is weird. I thought it was a cult. I don't remember the chair, and I just walked out. In my mind, I was like, fuck no, I'm not going back there. I knew it, but because I'm a people pleaser as well, which I've learnt in recovery, people go, you want to go for a coffee? Yeah. I'm like, yeah, I'll come for a coffee. But then in my mind, I'm thinking, I'm going to fuck off. Yeah. So I went for the coffee. I didn't really take any numbers, and I just left and kept doing the same thing for another year. Yeah. But the seed had been planted. Like, I couldn't deny that I'd heard something. Yeah. And then a year later, I went back to another fellowship. By the way, I'm a lover of all 12. Yeah. All 12-step fellowships. I think anything with an A at the end of it is like beautiful. Whatever gets you clean.
Exactly that.
And I went back to this meeting, and this guy was talking about psychosis, and I can see that meeting crystal clear in my mind. I couldn't get away from hearing what he shared. But I left and I looked round at everyone. This is the ego, right? Low self-esteem, but then thinking I'm superior. Because when I first come in, I just thought of low self-esteem, but I've got that other side as well that thinks I'm better than, and just disguised, you know, it's all like wrapped up and sneaky. And I thought, fuck no, I'm not like you lot, fucking weirdos. Yeah. Meanwhile, it's like broken, absolutely broken. And I took my newcomer chip and I put it in the drain. I was living at my mum's and I just threw it down the drain. But again, like, a bigger seed was planted, and this woman had taken my number, and she kept messaging me like month on month, like, Em, how you doing? Em, how you doing? And still that thinking, oh my, like, leave me alone.
Yeah, please fuck off.
Yeah, please fuck off. But also, you know what, like, it's because of the fear of love. Yeah. It's the fear of someone, you know, caring. Wow. I'm just like, why would you care? Yeah. What are you doing this for? There's got to be an ulterior motive. Yeah. Even when I'm first coming into recovery, and I can still go there now and think, well, you're only doing that because then it helps you. Yeah. But that's what we do to practice it, to embed it in us. So after the same old stuff happening and like calling out to my nan, like I said to you, and my guts like all messed up, you know, I was bleeding out my arse at the end. From takeaways as well, my food thing had grown as well. I was getting like...
It's all knock on, isn't it?
Yeah, I had this paneer addiction, tandoori paneer from the Indian. And I was getting like 4 the next day.
That's a new one.
And like forcing the food, it's just grim. And I went into this meeting and that was it. Like, thank God that was it. But I literally, it was as if I could hear. Yeah. Like, it was like my ears had been syringed and I could hear. And I walked into this meeting in Buckers Hill in Essex, and loads of people were laughing, and it was light and happy, and I did think they were all laughing at me, because my world has like, when it gets so small, it's just me in it. I mean, they weren't, they didn't even know me, but they could tell I was new. And I heard the message of recovery that night, like loud and clear. I heard the triangle, I heard Unity Recovery Service, I heard I needed to get a sponsor, I heard I needed to do service. That was really important to keep it clean, and to get working on the steps. And that's what I did. I absolutely threw myself in like a little loony.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, it was. It was a really beautiful first year. I got about 4 commitments. The sponsor she's not my sponsor now, but she's a close friend, and I love her like for what she gave me and for who she is as well. She's a very strong woman. And we embarked on the journey, and when I got to step 3, I had a really big, what felt like awakening. Looking back, it was an awakening, but I think there was a bit of delusion in it as well. So you have to let me know how long I've
No, go for your life. No matter. There's no limit.
We did it over Zoom because she's a single mum, and we read this step 3 prayer, and it felt like, oh my God, I've got nothing to worry about. Like it literally, this weight just came off me. I thought, oh my God. But I think I believed that I didn't have to do as much, like looking back at the rest of my journey. But in that moment, it was like, wow, just this weight lifted off me. And as soon as we started reading the Big Blue Book as well, I was identifying like so much, and I'd never felt that before. I'd never felt that identification, especially out of a book that was written 100 years ago. Like that's insane.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
I felt incredible at step 3, and then she was like, we now launch into vigorous action in step 4. I did my step 4 in a day.
Wow, good for you,
Yeah.
Good.
It was, I think...
Launched, isn't it? Launched
into it, and I think the amount of time it's such an individual journey, isn't it? But for me, Bobby, it worked. Like the obsession to drink and use went. Around step 5 when I shared it, I remember that day as well. I was just smoking fags and writing. I've quit cigarettes now, I'm on the vape, but I was just writing. And then I caught another resentment when I went outside for a fag, just a man in the road. Like, I thought he looked at me funny, so I thought, better write that down as well. He was just living his life. But we continued to go through the steps, and she gave me a lot of her knowledge as well. Like, she'd worked on herself really hard. She was 7 years at the time, she's now 10. She gave me sort of snippets along the way about codependency, all this other stuff outside of just the work as well that she didn't have to do. And when I got to step 9 as well, I threw myself in as well. I was terrified of drinking and using again. Terrified. And I just followed it. And one of the amends that I reached out, I didn't get. It was only one. I didn't get a great response, but after praying on it, looking at it, because I had a resentment that was like huge and covered like my thinking 24/7 when I was using. And now, if I look back on it, hardly enters my thoughts. When I think of this person, I can get a little bit, but the progress is like enormous. And that was just, if my higher power that I call God is involved in all of this, I'm protected. That was how it was supposed to be. If we're supposed to talk in the future, that's what will happen.
That's right.
I put my hand up to sponsor at 4.5 months.
Wicked. Love that.
And started giving back to other women.
Wicked.
I was absolutely lit up. I was like glowing from ear to ear. I got in a relationship at about 30 days.
Right.
I've been laughing about it when I mention it, and I'm saying like I didn't listen to the suggestions and I probably should have stayed single, but he's not in the rooms anymore, and he is a beautiful soul. We didn't have a toxic relationship where it was screaming and shouting, or he is a beautiful person, and he'd done a bit on and off, and long and short, he picked up and he went back out, and it was really hard. I'd also ended it as well for other reasons. The whole thing was really hard because we went in 0 to 100, and we were doing a lot of this recovery stuff together. We were praying together, we were meditating together. He's a very spiritual soul. We had crystals together, and we broke up when I was 10 months. It was about 2 years ago, and it probably now I feel the most free I have around it. But the pain that came with that was like, it was another level. It nearly took me back out the door, so I get now why to be careful, like so new, and I think I've stunted. I don't regret it because we weren't together that long, but I'll turn around and say I love two men in my life, and he was one of them, without a shadow of a doubt. Our souls connected. I don't regret it, but I stunted my emotional growth, without a doubt. And you know, I have to look at my part as well, that I played in it, because I've got a part in everything today, everything, and I never could have said that before, ever. Yeah, so that was really hard, but you know what, by that point I had some spiritual tools, and I went to meetings, I cried in meetings, I screamed in meetings, I shared in meetings, I called people. I went against the grain when my thinking tells me don't call, they don't want to know. I thought, fuck it, this is life-saving, I'm not picking up, I haven't come this far to come this far.
Good for you.
Thanks, but that time between that 10 months and about 2 years, all of my old stuff came back, all of it, like really quick, and that's nothing against, that's nothing to do with the fellowship or the steps, or that was to do with where I was at, and because I was sort of doing everything more, so I picked up more chairs, I picked up more step work, but I think I was like, how I'm saying it, like shaming myself into this, so like beating myself into being alright, to the point where I was making myself ill. So I was getting more ill, my mental health was declining. That's how I see it now. As time goes on, more's going to be revealed, but right now that's kind of how I see it. And it looking back, it was me that was making myself ill, but I didn't know how to get around it. The moving carried on. I went and was an au pair in North London for a lady in recovery. That didn't work out. I went and was doing a flat share. That didn't work out. Couple of toxic environments, and but I held on, and wherever I went to meetings, saying North London, I would go to meetings. I was walking into the meetings thinking, you're not my people, even though they are my people, but I didn't want to meet new people. I'd made my little bubble, you know, fear. But it was, again, I'd become all encompassed in fear, but I didn't get it because I was doing I couldn't get it. And I'm coming through that now, and then at 2 years clean, just before I turned 2 years, so only a year ago, I actually thought I was gonna pick up. I was really close, and I was really scared. And I was doing some voluntary work for a guy, he's got a charity, a drugs charity, and I was sharing at some schools and helping them out.
That's cool.
It was really cool. I was getting a bit, having a few panic attacks, and I didn't do all of them, but the ones that I did do, it was really liberating, and I got a hell of a lot of growth from it. And he knew someone in a ladies' recovery home, and said, you know, would you want a space there? My ego just went through the roof. How can I do that on 2 years clean?
Oh, so of course,
Crazy. But at the same time, like, this is life-saving, and they don't have to offer me a place.
No, that's right.
They do not have to give me a place, and they did. And I went there.
Good.
And I did the work, and I struggled there. So the common denominator here is Emma,
No way.
right? Yeah, and I know that, but that's becoming more clear as I talk through this. But I struggled there too. I like to think I gave it my all with the writing, and you know, I've got therapy from there, which is incredible. How lucky is that? And my sponsors from there, I'm going through step work with the fellowship that they're involved in.
That's cool.
And I did, but I've had this control that is basically untreated addiction, untreated alcoholism, that I'm deluded to think I haven't, because I've got a bit of knowledge in my head, but knowledge will not keep me clean. So I'm gripping on through fear, and they're all seeing it in me. They're like, let go, and the more I'm being told to let go, like the more I'm resisting. But I stayed there for 7.5 months. I met some beautiful people. I met some people that I didn't get on with. I think that's another you know, when I first come into recovery, I mean, I was 33 as a fully grown woman, but I thought to myself that I had to, or I just thought I'd have to get on with everybody. That's not the case.
No.
Like, the spiritual life that I'm learning, or that I'm starting to understand, is that it's about truth, love and kindness. So it's how I react, and what my actions are, but I don't have to like everyone.
No,
I
right.
just have to wish them the best.
Yeah, that's right. That's good.
So that, yeah, I've got on with some, didn't get on with others, and but my ego kicked in massively, and I'm getting a hell of a lot of lessons come to me as I'm processing it the last couple of months.
Yeah.
Like, I came into recovery with what I was saying before, like an inferiority, can't think of the word, complex, yeah. You know, who I'd grown up around all had more money than me, they had more cars than me, and that's all my jealousy and envy, like,
Yeah.
oh, look at you going to sheesh, and it's horrible, like,
Yeah.
oh, it's really ugly.
I can relate that.
Yeah, it feels uncomfortable though, but then it got flipped on its head to me, and I didn't mean to or know I was coming across like this, but apparently I was coming across to some people as better than.
Yeah.
And it was really highlighted, like, because it was in view of like 9 of us in a really intense environment, and it's true. I've got the two sides, and now it's just about doing more that's uncomfortable, going against the grain, not giving in to all my wants and needs, because I've got not my needs, but I've got so many wants, and I can still get deluded that that's gonna make me alright. Like, from the littlest thing of like, once I've done my washing, I'll feel alright.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Once I've bought this X amount of shoes, I'll be alright. And I buy into it still.
Yeah.
But I've got the awareness around it. So I left that place 7.5 months ago, and another beautiful, this is what I mean, this is God, this is just all these people, like, I'm so blessed. This beautiful, strong woman in recovery that's also 10 years, 2 of my closest friends sponsors, she said, you can come and live with me, I've got space.
There you go.
Like, that's unreal.
Nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, she's like, I don't want anything from you, I don't expect anything from you, just pay the rent and come and live. And I've been there 4.5 months, and she's made it like a family home.
Yeah, lovely.
Of course, you know, we go to some meetings together, her dogs are my dogs too.
I saw them today. Yeah.
And yeah, I'm really, really, really blessed, and I have a bad habit of looking where I've got to go, but the truth is, like, I'm 3 years pint free, wine free, cocaine free, and I am an alcoholic and a cocaine addict, and a day at a time this stuff does work, because I do not wake up in the morning and think about drinking drugs.
No.
I wake up with a negative narrative straight away.
Same.
Do you?
Yeah, oh yeah, before I've even opened my eyes.
Yeah, me too, like literally, and I reach for the vape and then I think, shit, you better poke it. So yeah, I have to lean in every day with this stuff, but what I don't have to do is shame myself into evolving, because when I beat myself into it, it doesn't work. This is a program of love, compassion, truth, kindness, and confronting life and not being afraid. Thanks so much for asking
That's
me.
beautiful. Thank you. There's so much in there. So much in there. I read about shame the other day, that shame is something that we feel is going to disconnect us from other people, you know. But the reality is that I think we all feel it on some level or another. God, there was so much in there, man. Like, it's a process of learning how to love ourselves, isn't it? And it ain't going to happen overnight, you know, but it's also not a linear journey either. It ain't like I come into recovery and then all of a sudden it's a fucking upward trajectory. It's not like that. It's more, I'll be confronted with the lessons that I need to learn without drinking drugs, you know, which is where the growth actually is, isn't it?
100%.
Talked about strong women in recovery as well. I think that's so important, because you spoke about the sort of the madness and what we get up to, and it can feel a bit like a boys' club at times, you know, but I was brought up by women, and I think it's so important that we all recognise that we're all the same, and we talk about how it doesn't sort of, you know, all different races and creeds and classes, but we're all the same effectively, aren't we?
Yeah, definitely.
What's been your favourite part of the journey thus far? Obviously, it's a marathon and not a sprint, but where was the most growth? Would you have said in the 12 steps for you?
I think my connection with God today, because it's totally different from when I came in.
Yeah.
So when I came in, so being Jewish, I would write God G-D,
right.
so not to take His name in vain.
Right.
But as time's gone on, the God that I've been taught about and that I can see is all loving and loves me whatever I am.
Beautiful.
And yeah, my faith and my faith. Yeah.
You spoke about spiritual awakenings as well, and like, I don't know, I'd come in and I'd think, I'd be worried about, the God word kept me out of the rooms for so many years. I was in and out for like 15 years, and I'd come in and they'd talk about God and I'd think, oh, fuck off, do you know what I mean? And show me a book and I'd think, oh, I've read loads of books, thanks, you're alright, how's that going to help?
Yeah.
But it's such a beautiful process and an absolute miracle. But that, like you, my conception has changed over the years, and going through the process, it's not like we get to step 3, say the prayer, the heavens open, a light comes down, but it is more of a sort of educational awakening that happens. It's like you said, step 3, step 5, step 9, and we've become more and more sort of attuned to realising that we are loved and we are looked after, and we've got a chance today, How did you feel before your first meeting, walking in? Because you touched on it, like, don't fucking touch me, go away, all of that stuff. Because we are beaten up and broken when we get there, aren't we? Yeah.
No,
how did that feel? Was you?
Yeah, absolutely. So my head was down, I didn't want to look at anyone, paranoid, really paranoid, who's looking at me, I wasn't using that day, but still like edgy, so edgy.
I used to think the meetings were designed for me. In my infinite fucking paranoia, I used to think that these are all hired actors. Someone's been, bugging me. They all know my story because they're all telling my story. And I felt exposed. I felt called out, But how beautiful.
That reminds me, like, they're all in on this.
Yeah.
They know.
Yeah, and none of them are fucking clean because it's impossible to be clean,
and
so they can't be. Yeah. Fucking yuck. So I shared it in the meeting the other day that they pick up resentment even now when they go into the rooms and people are happy because they're not there yet. Do you know what I mean? Like, how fucking dare these people be laughing and joking and
I think that's so normal.
I think so too. But the relief when I wake up in the mornings. You spoke about like that default setting. Before I'm even fuck knows where I go or I'm asleep. But before I'm even awake, it's fuck today off, Bob. It's too daunting. Feeling of impending doom. It's then that I have to say, big man, like, fucking help me out. And what's your morning routine like? Are you consistent with it?
So if I'm brutally honest, and I spoke to a friend today, I wake up and I go for the vape. That's the first thing I do before speaking to the power, my higher power. But I stopped for, and I think looking back, I stopped for a while praying out loud, and I think I can pray in my head, but my head is where it gets me, so I've upped it recently. I'm praying out loud. Nice. I don't get on my knees. No. But I just wake up and I'll go for the vape. And then after a while, my mind going round and round, I'm like, God.
Enough.
And I talk to the God of my understanding like me. Like, He knows me inside out, do you know what I mean?
Like
Morning God. I'll say the step 3 prayer, I'll say the step 7 prayer, but kind of in my own way, and just help me to get out of my head today.
Isn't that powerful?
Out of my way,
I've sort of, the realisation that I'm addicted to thinking is my biggest problem, do you know what I mean? Because I can have 1,000 conversations that just never materialise, and I'll burn up so much energy. He'll say this, then I'll cut him open with this little witty one-liner, do you know? And these conversations just never even happen, let alone fucking go the way I think that they're going to go. But like, I would hear that phrase, control freak, and I would bristle. I'd think, ugh, what an unattractive quality. And going through this work, I realised I'm a fucking ultimate control freak, But to give that away, even if there's something sort of psychologically profound about the act of giving away control, to just say, whatever's going to happen is going to happen, because I'll be murder. Someone will cut me out on the road and I'm screaming and shouting, and I understand today that person might need to get to where they're going before I do, and having that sort of understanding that we're all, like, I'm not the fucking most important person in the world anymore. Who knew? Do you know what I mean? No. You said that you was out sponsoring after 4.5 months as well. I think that's so powerful, isn't it? Because if you at that stage you've got something that someone else desperately wants,
Yeah.
and if you're 3 years and someone walks into the room, they can think that that's nigh on impossible, but they can relate to someone that's a little bit newer. How was your experience of working with other people?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And I was looking at women and men that were 90 days when I was like a week, thinking, how the fuck do you get there? And you're right, it felt closer and more achievable, but it was beautiful working with others. And I've currently got one lady that's my sponsee, but I actually need to take a couple of other women through the work, because I think you keep really fresh being in the book.
Yeah.
So that's something I need to do again now, but it's the most incredible experience to see me through them. It's like into me you see.
Yeah,
you
wow.
know?
Yeah.
And it's just so vulnerable, and so I can't even think of the words. But they were. It's totally the other way round. Like, it sounds like sponsor is hierarchical,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I don't like that
but
term.
it's so on a level,
It is, yeah.
and they're helping me.
Yeah, we help each other, don't we?
more than yeah.
Yeah, I find it fascinating as well. Like, I was so alone in the end. Like, oh, do you know what you said, which was fucking beautiful? Which is that you've always been loved, but you couldn't accept it. And it's always been there. The love has remained the same, and yet today I can feel it, but I could never feel it before. You know, especially as a child, I was so insular and wrapped up in my own thinking and my own thoughts and all the rest of it. I always felt disconnected, but going through this process, and like I was just so alone. There were no numbers in my phone. I didn't speak to anyone aside from the dealer in the end. Like, and today, having men come round here and do the work with them, and then share, like, before anyone does their step 5, I like to share all of my stuff with them, so that they know that they've got a safe space to share in, you know. But that bond that forms between two people when you share your darkest secrets with someone else, that's that's really powerful, isn't it? That's bound to sort of forge bonds between people, isn't it?
Definitely.
Sharing that intimacy. I love the way that you're sort of quite philosophical about your journey, and because it ain't linear, is it? It's not like that. It's about learning how to process all the different parts of us and what we go through as life goes on, isn't it?
Yeah.
Would you ever seek more? But I know a lot of people that go into sort of counselling and therapy and all the rest of it. Was that something that you would consider as well moving forward?
I thought about it at one point.
Yeah.
Because I'm at a point where I'm not actually working at the moment while I'm sort of rebuilding up again. But I'm not sure, because I'm not sure where my career path is headed. I keep praying on it at the minute.
Yeah.
I don't think that would be where I'd go, but yeah, I'll remain open-minded. But I do have outside help.
Yeah, good.
I do have therapy outside of this myself.
Yeah, because that's what I'm thinking, because the steps are good up to a point,
Yeah.
but they're not everything, you know, and we're confronted with stuff sometimes that we do need to go a little bit deeper with as well, you know.
Yeah.
Like, just recently I've been speaking to a friend and he's been having some issues coming up. And we talked about two-way prayer. Have you heard of that?
Yeah.
That's so powerful. Like, and so he'll write the question down, have a few minutes meditating, pick up the pen, and this stuff's coming out from childhood that he didn't even know was there. Do you know what I mean? So in order to sort of, like, the healing's an ongoing process, isn't it? You know,
Definitely.
I'm never going to get to the point where I get my certificate and I'm a fully qualified human being. I don't even think.
No, and it's powerful to hear that out loud, because my mind will tell me that I have, but it's all about the journey, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
What's your life like today, in comparison?
The awareness that I've got is insane. I thought, there's a lot more to come, but I always thought I was self-aware, and I think I might have been to a point, but I was self-consumed.
Yeah, wow.
The awareness that I've got around my thinking, because I just ran off of my thinking. I can see it and hear it today. That's powerful. And I remember a woman saying, when I was maybe 6 months in and I was lit up, and she said, like, it's about her insides that had changed, and a lot of my externals had changed at that point. Now, like, my externals have still changed, but it's the inside that I'm working on. Like, I'm in step 4 again, so I'm in the third step.
Oh, that's
4.
cool. That's really
and
cool.
it's going a little bit slower, so I'm having a new experience with it. and more stuff's coming up. I'm in a really safe home. The best is yet to come.
Amen.
The best is yet to come. I go to like 2 or 3 meetings a week.
Yeah.
I'm constantly in touch with fellows every day. It's a trick really to tell myself that I haven't come this far, because 3 years ago I'm involved. I'm in the bed of recovery.
Yeah,
so the next stage for me is looking at working, but God will provide.
Oh, amen. Amen.
Yeah, I'm very lucky. I'm lucky I'm not dead.
Yeah.
You know?
The beauty of it, every morning I wake up, I feel relief. Because, like the book talks about, we couldn't bring into mind with sufficient force the pain and suffering. Like, I'd lay there all night and I'd think, how the fuck have I done this again? I'm never fucking doing this shit again. And then the next day at 12 o'clock, that pain and suffering was just gone from my mind. I could not remember how bad it was, But today, to have the memory of the suffering is something that I can compare my life to today and think, thank fuck,
Yeah, got a different toolkit.
Yeah. What advice would you give to someone who, because I always ask the question, what would you say to someone that's thinking about coming to the meetings? But what would you say to someone that thinks that they've got a drug problem? Because it was revealed to me that the drink and the drugs are a solution. They're not the problem, are they?
No, it's the solution to the thinking, without a shadow of a doubt. Like, I drank and used on my thoughts, on my fears, on my experiences. I would say go to any 12-step meeting, just give it a go. There's absolutely nothing to lose. It's free, it doesn't cost a penny. There's the most incredible people there that have worked on themselves so hard, that have got, you're going to walk into a room, it's making me quite emotional. You're going to walk into a room with love and kindness, essentially, and you're going to build what is like a family that you never had. Strangers that turn into friendships that you might never have seen before. I say just give it a go. There's nothing to lose.
What a beautiful note to leave it on, I think. Thank you so much, Em. Would you do me a favour and lead us out in the usual way with the Serenity Prayer?
I'd love that.
Thank you for today. It's been beautiful. I've really learned a lot. Well done, you.
Can we use the we version?
We can.
Okay. God,
God,
grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Amen.
Beautiful. Thank you, Em. And if you're listening out there, get your fucking ass to a meeting. What are you waiting for?
We may refer to this source by different names: God, a higher power, the Holy Spirit, or perhaps the cosmos. This source is the entire universe, the unified field, everything that is beyond the perception of the five senses.
Just received in our news, and further details of this continuing story. Just received in our, and further details of this continuing story.